Right, well now, after a year of war, there's no sign of either side slowing down, yet even Ukraine's staunch ally, the United States, has said the war cannot be won by military means, and it's urged diplomacy. So what does the past year tell us about how the conflict will continue into the future, or how it might end?
1 year of constant fighting. A new Russian offensive already underway. Will the two sides ever sit down and make a deal? There have been several rounds of talks, but both sides have blamed the other for negotiating in bad faith. The two sides did come together in a deal to allow grain to be exported from Ukraine's ports, but the agreement only happened under immense international diplomatic pressure, with a hunger crisis looming in many parts of the world. The relationship between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky makes the prospects for peace even more remote. Putin describes the Ukrainian government as fascist and neo-Nazi. Zelensky has said that he's ready for dialogue with Russia, but not while Putin is in power. Russia is unlikely to subdue Ukrainians, who see the war as an existential battle. But if Ukraine runs too low on ammunition or soldiers, it will be difficult to resist Russia's overwhelming superiority in numbers. Analysts say Putin sees conquering Ukraine as his legacy, restoring Russia's status as an imperial power. He stakes so much on the war he can't afford to lose face by backing down. But if enough Russian soldiers die, he may face domestic backlash and change his calculations. That means the conflict has settled into a contest to see which country can stand more pain, with Russia now losing hundreds or even thousands of soldiers every week, and Ukrainians suffering through an invasion that has driven many from their homes and destroyed much of the country. Early this year, Russia said no diplomatic solution was in sight, and both sides have big plans to take territory. Any solution seems months away at the very least.
The human cost of the war in Ukraine has been devastating, but the prospect of one day rebuilding after the war gives hope to many Ukrainians. But the task will be monumental. So much has been destroyed and the economy is in ruins. An initial estimate by the Ministry of Economy of Ukraine shows that the Ukrainian economy shrank by 30% in 2022. Inflation hit a peak in October at 26.6% and has been persistently high for months. Despite the ongoing attacks from Russia, Ukraine is already looking towards the cost of rebuilding. Projections from the government, European Commission, and World Bank jointly estimate that that bill could be nearly $350 billion. For more on the economic costs of the war, I'm joined by Maxim Timchenko. He's the CEO of DTEK. That's the largest private investor in the energy industry in Ukraine. Welcome. Now, blackouts have become a fact of life in Ukraine since the war. Can you describe to us the state of Ukraine's grid infrastructure at the moment?
So one year ago, we started our war, energy war, and the tech is in the front line of this war. You know that Putin and Russians has been defeated on military front line, and they started physical destruction of infrastructure, especially from 10th of October when we experienced the massive missiles and drones attack. Since that time, we lost about 50% of our generation capacity. In some regions, we have devastating destruction of our grid, but we are fighting. And I think it's a good example, Kiev region, when it was liberated in April last year, we managed to restore power supply in 45 days. Today, we don't have blackouts at the extent we had three months ago. Of course, we need billions of dollars of investments into power grid at the moment. But what is the most important for us, the people with light and heat today at this moment.
Perhaps you can give us an indication, how difficult is it to ensure that these systems come back online?
It was quite difficult. On 23rd of November, we had so-called national blackout when most of our generation was switched off because of protection software after attack, and we managed to bring back the whole system in 24 hours. So it's not easy, but if we work as a team, thermal generation, nuclear, hydro, and we work all together, so we know how to bring it back. Of course, we paid very high price for that, and talking about us, we lost 141 employees. This is highest possible price so that people have electricity at the moment.
What's it like to work under these attack conditions?
I would say that this is indication of heroism of all people, civilians, our power engineers. So they go to power station knowing that this power station is the target of Russian missiles. So this is heroism, and I think that people just do their work, and basically the mission of our company is to bring light and warmth to people. This is everyday job for all of us.
Providing light and warmth. Maxim Timchenko, CEO of DTEK, the largest private investor in the energy industry in Ukraine. Thank you so much.